Are you tired of having to search through games every time you want something new to play? Or tired of having to, put in a disc every time you want to start a new game in your backlog? Are you getting frustrated from having to sort through the games and just having issues? Well, you are in luck because I have a product that will solve all of your problems. And just for the low price of 3 payments of $29.99, it can be yours. What's going on, everyone? And hope you enjoyed my very crappy little introduction there. But today we are going to kind of dive a bit into what I've done the last week or so, which was mod, hack, whichever way you want to describe it. PlayStation 3. So had an extra one that my brother gave me, and I'm like, you know what? Let's set it up to be, I guess, well, really to kind of be my my streaming box to if I ever, and I guess my game capture footage. So whenever I need to get new footage, I can just, for the majority of things, obviously, for retro things like that, I can use this one box right here. I don't have to worry about it. Don't have to put in discs. Don't have to do anything. So it's it's fun times. So I won't show a lot of like where you got to go to get a lot of the things, just because, I mean, you Google it, it's there. But I'll go through the steps the steps that I did and what you have to do, and then we'll show as I'm going through, we're talking about it. I'll go through the features and things that you can do with it. So the first thing you need, obviously, is a PlayStation 3, whether the fat model, the slim model, and I even think some of the super slim models nowadays you can homebrew and hack into, do custom firmware. But I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me on it. The super slims I know are the hardest to do, so depending on what you have, there you go. But first thing you do is, again, you can Google it. I think I Googled just hacking PlayStation 3. It brought up a whole bunch of stuff. So first thing you do is you find out what model of the PS3 you have, and what the model number and what firmware version you have on it. So what I did here for mine, it was the PS3 Slim, and it was firmware 4.82. And I know there are a few things out there you can downgrade. Obviously, you can get a specific one like I did, which was, I know the 4.82 isn't the latest, and I think there are hacks for later ones, but that's what I found. So that's what we used. So you find it, blah, blah. So from there, then you find, basically it's an update file, the PS3 update file that basically has the hack on it. And so you get that, you run it, it basically kind of sets everything up so you can do it. And then, again, there are a few ways to do it, but the way I did was basically I hosted a server, local server on here, which again, super easy to do. I Googled it, hosted it, and then I ran a HTML file that was on my computer on the PS3 that did the actual exploit. Again, there was a guide that literally walked me step by step on how to do it all. Yeah, and then it was it. And then it was just a matter of picking what you want to use on it. So that's where we're going to go into a bit on. I record a little bit on what what the capabilities are. So when you do it, the PlayStation icon goes red, and yeah. So one things I have on there is a little like face icon. It's called Multi-Man. That is a lot of things, and especially for dumping games. Dumping PS3 games, because that was one thing I wanted to do, was to be able to back up all of the physical discs that I have, and I can play them. Another one that opened up here is RetroArch. If any of you are into the emulation scene, this should be very familiar to you. It works exactly the same way. It has a whole bunch of the cores, a bunch of the retro ones, so Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, NES, SNES, that kind of thing. So, yeah, the one I did was Game Boy Advance was one of the main ones I want to do, because my next streaming game that I want to do, at least on Twitch, is Metroid Fusion. In celebration of, obviously, the 35th anniversary of Metroid, which is this year as well, is not getting any love, which is a depressing thing. But also for Metroid Dread, it's coming out here in a couple of months. So, yeah. And then I think the one I started here, yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics, kind of showed a little bit. Yeah, it's so pretty easy for that aspect. Obviously, the backups that you obtained legally, you have these games and you got the backups, wink wink. And yeah, then there you go. You can play them right on your PS3. It's really nice. Have a nice controller, nice big screen. Obviously, like I have this is a 40-inch that I have here, and yeah, playing a Game Boy Advance game on it, it definitely doesn't look awesome. It's pretty pixelated, but I mean, what are you gonna do? It's a very old game. So yeah, but it makes it really nice, and yeah, it gives you that option. So yeah, a whole bunch of things. Basically, the main thing was some of the retro stuff, and then PlayStation 2, PSP, all that. So there's a PSP launcher, a PS2 launcher. What we launched here was the Multiman, or I said MMCM, same thing. But this is where you could insert your PS3 games. This is the file explorer itself. Yeah, I think kind of show you. You're kind of basically like you're moving a mouse. It works just like a computer. Shows all the drives there. You can do USB, the HDD. I did put a new hard drive into this. I just bought a 2.5 inch, just internal HHA or HDD. Yeah, so not an SSD, of course, but did put what was it, terabyte, just so I could back up all the games. Anyways, yeah, so selected one of the games I backed up, which is Ni no Kuni, the first one, which I actually haven't played yet. So hopefully I'll get to it soon. But as you can see, so what it does is when you back up the game, when you select it, it basically mounts it. So it's just like you're mounting a disk on your computer. So then it goes in there, and then it's going to show probably, I think, yeah. So it's basically going to install it. So it's just like you download the game, and then you need to install that game. So it's it'll go through the whole process. Obviously, it takes a little while. So I'm not gonna show the whole thing here. But yeah, so it yeah, there it goes. So yeah, so it you install it, and there you go. Then you have one of your PS3 games on there. You got them on there. That's what I've went through the last few days. Of just sitting there and backing up all of them onto the hard drive, so that I don't have to put any disc in. And from my lovely little short there at the beginning, yeah, so you don't apparently throw them all over the place, because that happens, like in those old school infomercials. But works great, works just like that. Yeah. So the other aspect, what I was really excited for was, was doing PS2 games, because I have a lot of those, and I have a lot backed up. So it's like I wanted to play them, same as my PlayStation games. So if you have ISOs on there, you have your ISOs that you've backed up, there you go. You can just, you have them all there. They're all just nice, ready for you, and you can just play them whenever. So it works the same way. When you click on it, it mounts the disc, and then you can just play it. So for PS2, obviously just ISO files. PSP, depending on if you've been in the emulation scene for it, you either have ISOs for it or you have CSOs. For this, it does use ISOs, so you can't have the compressed ISO, that is a CSO, that I know some emulators use. And then so far, when I was reading up on it, it said that the PlayStation 1 ISOs needed to have, or PlayStation 1, I guess, games need to be in the bin and .q files, which again, if you know what they are, you know what they are. If not, look it up. It's easy. But there are a lot of them that's like CCD and blah, 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 has a lot of that tracks, that kind of thing. So far, everything I've had has been able to work. So I think it's advanced enough nowadays that it doesn't have to be in a specific format. The modding scene and the modders that have made this possible, which again, kudos to them. They're awesome. They're very talented. Yeah, so you can use any of it. So having any issues with that, and yeah, it works really well. Started playing Xenogears a little bit. Never played that one either. So I got a very big backlog. All right, it's an issue. It's a real issue. But yeah, there you go. So again, I'm not going to go too much in the process, but I will say, obviously once you found it, because I actually did it on the original hard drive, which right here. So this is the original hard drive that came in the PS2 or the PS3. That I think it's only 100 gigs. Obviously, you're not going to put much on that when, like I think I put The Last of Us on there, and that itself was 40 gigs to back up. So it would fill up really quick. So that's why I bought the new hard drive, put it in, very easy. On the Slim model, it's just one little screw right in the front or on the bottom, but for this front little latch, you just undo it. Then it's just a housing, pull it out, put the new one in, put it back in. Very easy. And I know for the PS3, the fat models, the original ones, even easier. The top plate just kind of comes off because I had to replace the disk drive and the hard drive in the last one I had. So yeah, other than that, it worked really well. So when I replaced the hard drive, because this was already modded, and then so when I put the new hard drive in, obviously I had to do it all again. So it really maybe took me 10 minutes to actually do the whole process, and then obviously it's just about moving games over, things like that. Oh, one thing I will mention that I didn't really show. So you will run into it if you have some backups of your PS2 games. Most noticeably, like Dark Cloud 2 is like 4.8 gigs, I believe, the ISO file. So for that one, for anything that's over 4 gigs, so the PS3 hard drive, same as PS2, I guess, in that aspect. So they uses the FAT32 file format, hard drive format, which if you've ever used it before, or if you haven't, it can't support. It doesn't move any files that are over 4 gigs. So like you can't plug in the hard drive or like plug in an external drive that's FAT32, obviously, so that the PS3 can read it, and you can't move anything over 4 gigs. Obviously, that's a problem because there are a lot of games in the PS2, some great ones that are over that. Obviously, Dark Cloud 2 is a great is one of those, and then a lot of the Suikoden's are the Xenosaga games, a lot of them. So a few ways you can do it. There is some tutorials out there that you can get NTFS, which is the latest the main format of hard drives that can be used for it. But I never got that to work. So what I did was just do an FTP, file transfer protocol. So an FTP server, which again, very easy. I Googled it. And so just have my PS3 running, had the FTP, which FileZilla, I think is what I used. FileZilla client, yeah. So just use that. Again, it took a while. Honestly, probably took maybe, well, I had about 20 games that I wanted to do it, so it was about an hour each, so about 20 hours. So just basically did a few of them, make sure they all worked, and then just did a big lump sum, and then let it run for a night and a half, a day and a half, that kind of thing. But yeah, so there you go. So why would you do this? Why? Well, I kind of told you why I wanted to do it, but why would you do this? So for one, game preservation. All the companies are very bad, except for Xbox, at preserving their games. You know, they don't do it. And case in point, Metroid Fusion. So finding a cartridge that's not a reproduction, which again, those will work, but finding an original cartridge is a very rare process. It's very rare and very expensive to try to get some of these older games, especially some of the older JRPGs on the PlayStation. I mean, they are god-awfully expensive. It's horrible. So that's why I do it. You know, you have these game backups, again, or the ISOs, the ROMs that you obtain legally. Wink, wink. But yeah, it's to play them. And when these companies don't give you a good avenue to do this, you know what? I don't feel bad. You know, because you're preserving these games, people are keeping them out there, and for you to enjoy. All right, you don't sell them. Don't try to make money off it, because that's where you get to the ROM sites that Nintendo's going after. Bad idea. Don't do it. But for your own benefit, to enjoy these games, to talk about these games, to make content that brings light to these games and brings fans to the Metroid saga, the Metroid franchise, the Mario franchise, the Zelda franchise, all that. Suikoden, it needs to come back. All right, but anyways, so that's why I'm doing it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. Hopefully soon on Twitch we'll start streaming some Metroid Fusion. Go through that pretty quick because I think it's a pretty short game. I just went through Metroid Zero Mission and played it in just a couple of hours. Yeah, but let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions, I'll try to help you out as much as I can without giving too much away of, you know, besides just Google it, figure it out. But if, yeah, what do you think? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Obviously, you know, thumbs up if you do, thumbs down if you don't. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and hit that bell icon so it lets you know when new videos of mine go up. Yeah, other than that, good stuff coming. I need to stream Zelda some more. I've only done a couple of episodes and I just haven't found the time. Yeah, it's been busy between life, baby, camping, new trailer, all that. It's a busy time, but Yeah, until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.